from an abandoned storage building behind Wendy's. This is the Poor Taste Podcast with Dustin Sims. Is it comedy, or is he just working some shit out? Stay tuned and find out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 34 of the Poor Taste Podcast. Good to be back. We're going to do things a little different this time. We're going to start out with the questions. We usually kind of forget about them and throw them in there whenever we feel like it. So we figured it'd be a good idea just to jump into those, because there's really only a couple, man, because you guys fucking hate us and you hope us, you hope we die in a car accident or something.
They do, absolutely.
But it's good to be back. I got a couple of show announcements, man. I'll be in Birmingham this Thursday. I'm going to be in Dothan, Alabama with Zach Rushing Friday. I will be in Fort Walton Beach, Florida with Zach Rushing Saturday. And then I'm going to be in fucking Chicago and Rosemont, Illinois the next week. My first time there. I'm really excited to play with the bean a little bit, maybe get shot. Looking forward to it. I got a big Texas run coming up the following week, but you can see all the dates and stuff. It's kind of boring. So, man, you can just go to DustinSimsTickets.com and you can check that shit out. You see all my dates. Now, there's a little bit of confusion because if you Google my name and tickets, it will take you to DustinSims.net. And that's a website I built for myself a couple of years ago that I really didn't know what I was doing. And I finally deleted it 2 nights ago because people kept pointing out to me that there was like a food menu on my website. Like you can get chicken parmesan on my website. It was like a stock photo, I guess, and I don't know how to fucking get it off. And they had old show dates on there. It was really outdated and stuff. So like people would try to get tickets and they would end up there and they're like, what the fuck is this? It's just like, fucking fettuccine on here. And I'm like, I don't know how to take it off. I'm so sorry. So I deleted that. So there should be no confusion now. DustinSimsTickets.com. It's that simple, man. It's got my whole schedule. Well, all the ones that I've put on there. There's some shit I haven't really fucking updated yet. But we'll jump into the questions, man. We got Randall White. He says, if things go south with your comedy career, what is your fallback? I don't know, man. I haven't really thought about that, but anything, I guess. Like, I've dug graves. I could go back to that. I've worked at the Monument Company. I could go back to that. I've worked at Honda. I would rather not go back to that, but, I mean, fucking not above it. I would if I had to, support my family, but I don't really think of a fallback plan. I feel like if you're going to go in on something, I think the fallback plans are what fucks people up because you think, like, okay, well, I got this. And when things start going bad, you go to that. I feel like if you just kind of go all in on something, it's going to be hard at first, and there's going to be bad times. But I think if you just stay with it, you can make anything happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't really have a fallback plan. I think that's kind of weak, but I'm not above anything. Like, if shit gets bad, of course, I'll do whatever it takes to, like, support my family. So I don't really have, like, a plan. But that's just how I feel about it.
If you don't know, Dustin never has a plan. I've known Dustin for quite a few years, and his plan is just whatever the fuck happens. Yeah. It's just what happens, yeah.
I'm going to do what I want until I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do what I want until it affects me extremely negatively, and I'll probably still keep doing it if it's not too bad. But, yeah, I don't really have a plan. I just got to go with the flow. And, yeah, it works out sometimes. When it works out great. When it doesn't work out, it works out miserably. So we kind of just go with that. Yeah, we just go with the flow. I think that's life, though, anyways. You know what I mean? So fuck it. Donut Predator, which comment your real name because.
Wait, I think he did. Didn't he say to call him something?
Fuck, he may have.
And I do not remember the guy's name.
I think we did it last time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I cannot remember. I'm a little drunk right now, but I know that I've read your comment. Mm-hmm. I just can't remember.
Comment your real name again and let us know. And also tell us why your name is Donut Predator. There's got to be a story behind that. So that's our question to you. Donut Predator wants to know, was it a hard decision to walk away from your job at Honda to do comedy and YouTube full time? Craig Morris basically asked the same question, but in a shittier way because he's a piece of shit. I'm just kidding. We like Craig. No. Honestly, walking away from Honda was like the easiest fucking decision I've ever made. Like, I got to the point, I was lucky, and I feel really blessed, but like I got to the point that I was making more off of my YouTube than I was Oh, at Honda, and we make well at Honda. You know, like around here, like that was really good money. So it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, I'm done. You know, and I wanted to like try to pursue that further and like take it to the next level. And I hated that job, so it was the easiest decision I ever made. Best, oh my God, that was one of the best days of my life. I've had 2 kids. It almost trumps both of that. Okay, like man, I was so happy when I left there. Yeah, that was the easiest decision I've ever made. I feel like if you're gonna bet on anything, bet on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And
that's right.
It'll feel good. So no, that wasn't that hard. And Craig, you're a piece of shit, man. But we love you.
Damn, Craig, what you gonna say about that?
That's the only 2 questions we had, dude. Ask more questions, man. Drop some questions in the comment. We'll answer them next week.
That's it.
That was it.
That was it.
No, I'm positive.
Did we answer all the questions from last week? I really feel like we're missing some because I think I remember some that we didn't write down.
I don't know. And I'm sorry about that.
Hey, if we missed your question, I'm sorry.
Hey, comment it again. We might miss it again next week.
Yeah, hey, you know. 2 times. I actually put a disclaimer, read this, you fucking piece of shit. But like, you missed it first, you goddamn sociopath.
Yeah. What you been up to, man? What's going on in your life?
Oh, well, I about murdered 3 people on horses today.
At the same time?
At the exact same. I about murdered 3 people on horses with a horse today.
All right, go into it.
So I went to feed and water the cows today. And I get ready to go, and I'm just having a little fun in that Mustang that I've been driving. You know, it's nothing to shake a stick at, but it's fun to drive. It's a nice little 5-speed. Just give it hell until I'm literally. The oil pressure gauge on it, says that I've had 0 oil pressure since I started driving it about a month and a half ago.
Well, you know that's false. Obviously. There's no way you can drive it that long.
Actually, I really don't. Because, for one, it smokes, and I couldn't tell you if it's got oil in it.
But could you really drive it that long? The way you drive it that long with no oil pressure?
No, I'm 100% expecting it to come apart as I'm running 90 down the interstate.
I tore this car up, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, he tore it up 2 weeks ago. Well,
no, I did.
Yeah.
No, I did.
We'll go into that after I get done with this.
Go ahead.
So, I'm having fun with this car, and, it's just this old country back road, and this is when you know that you're in fucking Alabama. I come around this curve, I drift this little curve, and then it comes around a curve, and then you top a little hill. Well, the problem with that is it's getting close to sundown, so the sun's shining, it's golden hour right in your fucking face, and you can't see anything. So I top this hill running maybe 65, 70 in, casual fashion.
Yeah, just basic stuff.
Yeah, and there's 3 people on horses directly in the middle of the road with, their ass facing me. Mm. And I didn't know it was them at first. I seen somebody, and I was like, this person's standing in the middle of the road. What the fuck are they doing? And then I realized, oh, fuck. It's 3 people
on a horse.
On horses. So I stomped the brakes, and the brakes aren't good on this car at all. Like I said, it's a piece of shit. Stomped the brakes, it's sliding and everything, and I'm downshifting at the same time, trying to keep from running over these people. And the guy in the very back is no longer paying attention to what's in front of him. This guy's going and trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out if I'm about to, cause 3 mass homicides.
Right.
Luckily enough, I got stopped shortly before I hit the horse. It was close. I will say it was fucking close.
Why are you in the goddamn road?
Yeah, why are you riding in the fucking road?
You're on a horse, dummy.
And it's 6:30, 7 o'clock. It's 5:30, 6:30, something like that.
Yeah.
It's almost dark, and you're riding in the middle of the fucking road on a Sunday evening.
Why?
What are you doing?
Why? Maybe they wanted to die.
I about run that Mustang right up under that Mustang's ass.
You scared the shit out of them?
Absolutely scared the shit out of him. Yeah. Like I said, the dude was no longer paying attention to what was in front of him.
That's like the fucking gay ass bicyclers, dude. Because we live What is this trail through here?
It's
Is it a Silver? It's not Silver Comet.
No, there's some bike. There's like some big bike organization that actually goes through Chocolate because they train there all year. They train there all fucking year.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
There's a
for like
ton
cyclists.
of like bicyclers in our area, and then like you don't see just like they go in packs, dude, and there'll be like sometimes like 10 or 15 just riding bicycles down the road, and it's like get a fucking spot to ride, dude. Get out of the fucking road. What a gay fucking hobby that is, dude.
You dress up in tights,
Right.
and like if you're dressing up in tights, you're either going to wrestle,
Yeah.
or you're going to fucking ride a bike.
Or theater,
Yeah, I guess, or theater.
which all are pretty.
That's pretty out there in itself.
People wear tights in theater, which is gay. No offense. People wear tights in wrestling, and like wrestling, okay, yeah, it's combat, whatever. You're ready, you're fine, but it's kind of goddamn.
I would argue that wrestling is more gay than theater.
Damn. Okay, see, that's where the point I was trying to get to. Wrestling's gay, dude.
I mean,
It is. And like, yeah. So what? You could like choke me out and wrap my head around. Like, well, fine, dude. What, you gonna fuck me after? Like, it's weird, dude. I don't want your nuts in my fucking face when you choke me out with your legs, dude. Like, just beat my ass with your hands like an adult.
like a real man.
Yeah, don't fucking choke me out with
care
your
that you're
fucking
wearing a
groin,
Speedo.
you fucking faggot. What are you fucking? You know, it's like whatever, dude. Yeah, I can't stand the bicyclers, dude. I try to hit them. We hit one time. Me and my real dad. We hit a bicycler. Like, well, we hit him with our fucking tow mirror, we was in his dually, and we're just cruising through there, and he's just talking shit, and all of a sudden, I hear like a thud, and I look in the mirror. I'm like looking at myself because the mirror had folded in. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I roll the window down. I push the mirror out, and I look, and there's a guy laying in the ditch way back there.
God
We hit
damn.
him. He was on his bicycle, but we just hit the his handlebars with the mirror. And he like rolled through the ditch. He was fine, man. He was fucking fine, I think. But
Was he wearing tights?
yeah, no, actually, no, he wasn't. He was a drunk, and he hasn't had a license in a really long time. And he's like the town drunk, so he had to ride the bicycle everywhere he goes. So like he wrecked, and he like rolled through the ditch. And so like my dad turns around, we go back there. My dad's fucking crazy. So we come pulling up beside him. The dude's like picking himself up, and he's like all disoriented and shit. And my dad like rolls my window down, and the dude's over there in the ditch. And my dad's like, "Are you okay?" And the dude's like looking at his bike, and he throws his bike in the ditch. He's like, "Fuck no, I ain't okay." And my dad like pulls his pistol out. He's like, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. Yeah. But he was fine, clearly. He was good. He was good for real. So like we just drove off, and I was like, okay, well that was fine. But yeah, dude, Mike wanted me to drive his car the other day.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell this story.
We went over there to help him out. What was we doing? I can't remember. Putting up a fucking fence or something.
Yeah, we was working on. We was putting up the cross section for the fence. So when the cows get ready to have little babies, whenever they get ready to have a little baby, they'll be in the upper fence. They'll be in the upper pasture.
So I'm like, we're leaving. And he's like, "You want to drive?" And I'm like, I wanted to drive, but I was like, nah, I know me. And everything I drive, I tear up. So I was like, nah, I'm okay. And he's like, "You don't want to drive?" And I was like, no, I do want to drive. I said, but I'm not going to drive. I said, because I'll tear this up. And he's like, "You're not going to tear it up." And I was like, "I'm going to tear it up." He's like, "You won't tear it up." I said, "I promise you I will." And he said, "Just drive it." And I said, okay. So we're fucking cruising. Like, we're really not doing anything crazy.
No.
I felt like I was behaving well. We're just driving. We're driving. And what was it, fourth gear we hit?
Went from third. Yeah, went from third to fourth.
And I heard a pop when I like pushed the clutch. It was like poof, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck was that?" And he's like, "Oh no." So then I pushed the clutch in again, and it just snaps, and the clutch cable just rips off. Okay, so we lose the entire clutch, and we like pull over on the side of the road. I fucked it up. And this is what I do every time, dude. And I was like, that's why you don't let me drive shit.
Well, let me tell you. Let me just give you a little glimpse of how my past less than month or maybe a month has gone. So y'all don't know that I'm dealing with this, but I'm dealing with a bunch of shit like automotively.
Oh yeah.
So I hit something on the interstate with my truck, and I drive a 2017 Chevrolet Silverado.
$60,000 truck.
No, okay. I don't know about all that.
It
but
is.
it's a 2017 Silverado. I hit something on the interstate. It looked like a big piece of styrofoam. So I didn't fucking care. I was like, hey, it didn't do nothing. I got out, looked at the hood, looked at the fender. It was cool. Well, I didn't see that it actually had hit my headlight. It hit my headlight and busted my headlight. And after a week or so later, I was like, okay, so I figured this out. Now I need to get this fixed. The fucking headlight was $1,300 plus.
$1,300 for a headlight.
Yes,
It's the whole
just
assembly.
for the parts. Just for the headlight assembly. It busted the...
Why?
Because it's got switchbacks in it that turn from amber to regular, like, white LEDs.
Okay. I understand now.
Absolutely. I don't think it.
Go ahead.
He's like,
Go ahead.
That's not $1,300, but whatever. Anyway, so it got to where my battery it had like a vampire drain on it. I would park it, it'd just fucking die.
Yeah.
It'd die. In less than 8 hours, it would die, and it'd be completely dead. So I put it in the shop. They put a TCM on it. It cost me $430. Went, picked the truck up, dead the next day before I could get to work.
I remember that.
So I put it back in there. I done an insurance claim, and I got my Mustang running. I bought this Mustang about 2 years ago. I traded a bike for it. Bought this Mustang, got it running, and then the clutch broke on it. The clutch cable broke on it.
This is you talking about me?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
I did that.
clutch cable broke, so I ordered a clutch cable for it. Very first thing I've ever ordered from Amazon. And it gets here and it doesn't have all the parts.
Which is crazy from Amazon.
It's my I wouldn't know. It's my very first order.
What?
Very first order. I've never ordered.
I like Amazon.
Well, I thought I would too until the very first thing I ordered don't have shit in it.
That's crazy.
So then I order another one and I'm gonna send that motherfucker back without the parts and get my money back.
Yeah.
But anyways, I done that. Like I said, I done an insurance claim on the truck, and my adjuster called me and told me that they couldn't pay for the labor to put the parts on the truck, that I would have to pay out of pocket for that.
Why?
Because I took it to a dealership instead of a body shop.
Dude, dealerships, like service charge alone is fucking retarded.
It's outrageous.
I think it's literally like $75 an hour, I think.
It is fucking
And like,
outrageous.
they don't get in a hurry.
No.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. It's like highway robbery. You've had the worst luck with your vehicles lately, though.
I really have.
I'm similar, but not really. I've really just... I was drunk when I hit that dumpster with mine, so it's kind of fucked up. It's a cosmetic issue. And the fuse, apparently that's a big deal with all of them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Did
Hey,
we talk
tell
about that
them-
last week?
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about that. Tell them about that fuse that...
Okay. So I drive a 2014 F-150. Gay! Whatever you want to say, man. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a better truck than mine. I ain't gonna lie.
But there's a common issue with it with the number 27 fuse. It's the fuel pump fuse. They got a relocation kit for it, but I'm too lazy to really put that on. And I had no problems with mine up until recently. And I would be driving along, all of a sudden all the lights on the dash would come on. It would like start beeping and shit. And I was like, everything's fine. And it wouldn't do anything. It was just like, and I'm like, well, you're for fine as long as you're driving. We're cool with that. Well, then it got to where it would just shut off while I was driving, and it cut out on me a couple times on the interstate. While I went camping with my son, I was really drunk, and it cut out on me out there. We couldn't leave, and I got pissed off. So I started like looking up shit, and something said it was about a fuse. But I was so drunk, I was like, I couldn't find the right fuse. So drunk me thought it would be a good idea to just get out of the truck and just beat the shit out of the fuse box. And that worked. I got back in the truck, it fired right up. I'm like, bada bing, bada boom. So that's what I would do every time. It would go out. It would just cut off. I would get out and I'd hit the fuse box a couple times. We're good. And I was going to wait until it to become a bigger problem. So when we were going up to that Moonshiners Festival at Josh Owens, Mike's with us. Kayla's over here in the passenger seat. She's fucking bitching at me because the lights are on. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, we're fine. I was like, if it goes dead, I just got to hit the fuse box. So going up there, it didn't die at all. We do the show. Everything's fine. On the way back home, we're about 4 hours from home. It goes dead. So we get out. I try to hit the fuse box. It doesn't work. I try to hit it. It doesn't work. So Mike looks at it, and he's like, I don't really know what's going on with it. So we call my stepdad, and my stepdad says, turn the key halfway. If you don't hear the fuel pump, tap on the gas tank with a wrench or something. So Mike gets up under there. And I think this really just happened by chance.
Yeah.
Because he tapped it twice, and the fucking truck started up. And I was like, oh, my God, we did it. So we get about, 30, 40 minutes down the road. It dies out again. So I was like, Mike, hit the fucking gas tank while I start it. That didn't work anymore. I tried to hit the fuse box. It didn't work anymore. We were fucking stranded. So we had to walk to Advanced Auto Parts. Turned out to be about 2 miles, right?
Yeah,
a little
about
over 2 miles.
Which it really wasn't that bad.
Not really. I mean,
it's still a walk.
It was hot,
Yeah.
but it was wasn't that bad. So we walk there and we get a pick set, we get some fuses or whatever, and we come back. We're trying to dig this fuse out, and we finally got it out. We're trying to get it up on there, man. We had to literally beat this motherfucker in. But ever since then, it's been fine. Now.
It burnt the fuse in half.
Oh, yeah. It melted the entire fuse in half. It even melted part of the fuse box. It was warped. That's why we had to force it in. It was fucked up. But what was really funny is, after we walked 2 fucking miles and made it back, this, yellow giant truck with, these lights on it stops. And it's, roadside recovery. This old lady gets out. Well, she was in her fucking 50s.
At least in her 50s.
She comes walking up. She's like, can I help you guys? And we're like, nah. I mean, we're just going to replace this fuse and get back on the road. She's like, okay. And then, she's just standing there staring at us. And she's like, you sure you don't need any help? And I was like, what could she do?
Yeah.
What was she going to do? To this day, I don't know what she was going to do. Why was she in this vehicle? What really was she going to do?
I had no idea.
No idea.
It wasn't like she was in a tow truck.
No.
It was it was like a fucking U-Haul.
If we were look, we're 4 hours from home. You going to take us home? No.
No.
She wouldn't have done it.
No.
She'd have been $4,000. Probably. It's stupid, dude. But yeah, my truck's great now. It's going great. We replaced that fuse, and it's 2014, so I figure... if it took from 2014 to 2022 to go dead, I got plenty of time. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just wait for that to become a bigger problem.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at the fuse once since then.
So you don't know if it's burning it or not?
No, I don't care. I'll wait till it becomes an issue.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's how we do it. Earlier this week, my little girl was excited. She wanted me to go to. They had this thing at the school. And both the kids come home. They're like, hey, we get to bring somebody to school with us. We got the book fair. They're going to have a snack, all this stuff. And they're like, we get to bring one person. And Joe was like, I want you to go, Daddy. And I was like, oh, my God, thank you so much. And I thought Talon was going to be like, I want you to go do, Dad. But he picked his mom. And I was like, damn, faggot. I was like, what
damn, man.
Because he's got to the point now where, he's a big mama's boy. He's always been. But, he's got to the point now where, now he's thinking, I'm cool and stuff. And he tries to, impress. So I was like, okay. Yeah. I thought they would both pick me. And they should. I'm the cooler one. And then Kayla was like, you should be glad that one of them picked you and one of them picked me. And I was like, I'm not. I would rather rather both pick me. I was like, you're, whatever. You're cool, okay, you're fine. But, I'm me. You know what I'm saying? So, I have to go first. Joe's day is Thursday. Talon's was Friday. I have to go first. And it's at 8:30 in the morning. Which, to people who work a regular job, that's not that early. But to me, who doesn't work a regular job, who stays up all night binge drinking until 3 or 4 in the morning, 8:30 is kind of fucking early. So I wake up and I go, and I get there kind of late. The line is already formed. It's entirely wrapped around this entire part of the elementary school. People are lined up. I swear to God, the average age of the people there was 66 or 70.
Fucking Christ.
It's all grandparents. Everybody brought their grandparent except for JoJo. And I was standing in line, and I was looking around, and I was like, is this fucking grandparents' day? I was like, what is going on? So, we finally get up there to the front. They call, JoJo over the intercom, and, they would do it by groups of 5. They would bring 5 of us in there, and they would call them out. And I was with all these grannies and grandpas, dude. So I'm standing there, and like JoJo comes in there, and I'm like concerned. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "Joe, is this Grandparents' Day?" And she just loses her fucking mind laughing. And I was like, "What is going on?" She's like, "Well, everybody wanted to bring their grandparents." She's like, "But I wanted to bring you." And I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Well, my heart." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, we're here for it." So we go down the hallway, and it like forks. And this lady standing in the hallway. She's like, "You go left for the book fair. You go right for your pictures." And I like looked at Joe, like, "What do you want to do?" She said, "I want to go to the book fair." I'm like, "Of course you want to go to the book fair first." So we go to the book fair. We're in line for it. And, dude, I swear to God, it looks so funny, man. It's like all these old men and women in line. And it's like me and Joe. And this, like, teacher standing there to the side. I was like, "Is this the line for the book fair or the AARP cards?" And I was like, "What is going on?" I feel like I'm in the fucking Social Security office. It was fucking hilarious, dude. So then, like, Kayla has to go the next day, and it's the same thing, dude. Like, it's all grandparents. I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude? And, like, Joe thought it was hilarious. And, like, sometimes I think she does the shit on purpose because, like, I don't know. She's just kind of fucking mischievous. Like, we went to the football game Friday night, and, like, they say you pay for your raise, and that's fucking 100% true. Like, your kids will embarrass you like worse than any of the wait staff at Texas Roadhouse when it's your fucking birthday. Like, for sure. And, like, so we're at this football game, like, Friday night. It's the high school football game. The kids are excited. My son goes off and plays with his buddies. He likes to play little pickup games of football and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's 9. Like, he can do that. As long as I can see him, I don't care. I don't let my little girl run off. She's only 7, and she's a little girl. Like, so I make her stay with me. She's not old enough to run off, I don't think. So she gets mad at me for it, but whatever. So we're sitting there watching the game. In the fourth quarter, this kid on the other team gets hurt. He's down. Down for a long time. Like a concerning amount of time. And I was like, oh my God, he's not moving. So, like, the teams all gather around him. And they're, like, circling around this kid's body. And, like, it gets quiet. You know, everybody's concerned. Like, people are, like, coming up. Like, we're sitting on the 50-yard line. We're at the front of the stands. People start coming down from the stands, and they're, like, getting close. And everybody's, like, praying and stuff. People are taking their hats off, putting them over their hearts like it's, like, Pledge of Allegiance and stuff. It's really quiet, dude. I got, like, JoJo in my lap right here. And she, like, turns around, looks at me, and she goes, "Are they going to bury him out there?" And I was like, "What?"
Whoa.
And she's like, "Are they going to bury him out there?" And I said, "Bury who?" She's like, "The boy." I said, "Why would they bury him?" She's like, "He looks dead." And I was like, "Whoops." So loud, dude. It's so quiet around. And I was like, no, he's not dead. She's like, "He looks dead." And I was like, "He's not dead. He's not dead." She's like, "How do you know he's not dead?" I'm like, inside, I'm like, I'm not a fucking coroner, you know? I was like, I don't know. I was like, he's not dead. I was like, okay, he just doesn't feel good. And she's like, "He don't feel good?" And I'm like, "No." She's like cancer? So loud. I'm like, "Nope. Not cancer." I was like, "Baby, he don't have cancer." I was like, "He's fine." I was like, "They're just praying for him." And she's like a funeral. I was like, "Not like a funeral. And he don't have cancer." And she's like COVID. And, like, she's so loud. So I'm just like, yeah, just like COVID. I was like, "You shut the fuck up, please." So she shuts up. And I'm like, thank God. Well, it's embarrassing. Like, they bring the ambulance out. They pick him up on the stretcher. And she, like, sees him getting on the stretcher. She's like, "He must be dead." I'm like, shut the fuck up, please. So I'm embarrassed, dude, because, like, people there, like, know, like, who I am and stuff. And it's just like, I don't want this, you know?
Yeah.
I'm fucking red as hell. I'm, like, super, like, I was like, God damn it. So, like, I'm like, let's go. I tell Kayla, I'm like, let's go. So we start going up the bleachers, man. We're, like, trying to leave. There's only a few minutes left in the fourth quarter. My son's down here playing football with his buddy. So I'm, like, yelling at him to come up. So he comes running up the hill. We're, like, walking out. Families, everybody, a lot of people start leaving. You know, it's fucking sad. It's like, whatever. It's like, we're, like, beating the shit out of this team anyways. So we're, like, leaving. And there's, like, a group of people all around us. My son comes, like, running up. He's all sweaty and shit through the crowd. And he was like, "So what do you guys think?" And I was like, "What's that? What do you mean? What do we think about what?" He's like, "Do you think he's paralyzed?" I said, "Will you shut the fuck up, please?" I was like, Jesus Christ. And my daughter's like, "No, he's got COVID." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's got COVID." So we're, like, getting him in the car. We make it all the way to the parking lot. We're getting him in the car. And, like, this one family is, like, at the car adjacent from us, dude. And they're getting in the car, and they're talking about how sad it is that little boy is, like, hurt. And they're like, "I hope he's okay." And Joe's like, "He's no longer with us." I said, "Will you shut the fuck up and get in the car?" God. I said, "What do you mean he's no longer?" She's like, "He's not. They took him off in the ambulance." I'm like, okay, smart ass. I was like, well, Jesus Christ, dude.
Come on. You know what he knows he's no longer with us means. You're old enough to know that.
Dude, she is hilarious, man. I don't know. like where she gets her fucking sense of like, I don't know what it is. Like she's just harsh. Like she's a cold heart. Like I was driving around one day and like she's in the back seat. She's like, "Dad, do you ever think about just hitting somebody, like punching them and making them hurt?" And I'm like, yeah, you know. But I want to say yes. So I was like, no. I was like, you shouldn't do that. That's bad. I was like, don't hit anybody unless somebody hits you. And so like I pick him up on the second day of school. And I'm like, what'd y'all learn today? And my son's talking about, like, all the stuff he learned. And it's like all these, like, you know, he's intelligent. Like, he's a smart one. He's like the bookworm. He likes to read. He's giving me all this stuff. And I was like, Joe, what'd you learn today? She's like, if you lose 50% of the blood in your body, you die. And I was like, okay.
All right.
I was like, well, what did you learn in second grade? I was like, you know, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, you crazy bitch?
Where did you learn that?
Yeah. Kids are, man, I'm telling you, they'll fuck you up, dude. You're lucky you haven't met yours yet.
Met my kids?
Yeah, you got a couple out there.
Met or made?
No, met. You've got a couple out there, I'm pretty sure, dude.
Maybe. I mean,
I think one of the Tabithas looks like you, man.
God damn it. There you go, name dropping me again.
Hey, can you tell the story about your... Okay.
Actually, so let me tell you this. Yes. Well, let's just go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Okay.
Let's just do it. Okay.
I don't know if you think...
I have a family friend.
I like this. This is what I'm here for this.
Friend. And
I was looking forward to this.
There's two of them. There's two people.
There's no right way to say this, man. Just get it out.
No, there's really not. So there's two people. I have two family friends that I don't call them anything. I don't have very much to do with them. But supposedly they're my aunts.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like my mother's sister.
Yeah.
And I've known that there's always been like something off about her, like about both of them, but one in specifically, you know.
Yeah.
And she's a little slow. I'm dancing around the word here.
Retarded.
Yeah. So my mom decided to tell me how that come about one day.
Now, elaborate a little bit, because you're telling it like they know as much as I know. Like, this is somebody that's you consider an aunt because they've been in your family since you were a child.
Yes, they've been in my family my entire life, and like
they are retarded.
They are definitely retarded. They're mentally handicapped, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They're yeah.
And as far as your knowledge, up until recently, you just thought they were just kin to you.
Yeah, I thought they were just kin.
Right. Okay.
So my mom decides to tell me how that come about.
Yeah.
And she said, well, your aunt so-and-so, I'm not going to name her. She said, well, your aunt so-and-so, you know, we actually found her one day. And I said, whoa. I said, whoa, wait a minute. What found her? And she said, yeah. She said, she was a prostitute on the corner making money the only way she knows how.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey, you know.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
So, making money the only way she knows how is a prostitute.
Now, okay. I'm trying to think of a way to say this. That sounds funny. How
did they find her?
No. We'll get there. I want to know how retarded she is. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, because there's levels to it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, she's...
How does she talk?
She doesn't talk like... She can form sentences.
Okay.
But it's not very...
Does she sound like she's got her
sentences.
tongue taped to the top of her mouth?
Almost.
Okay. So she's about a 6 or 7.
She's about a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
Like, enough...
No, I just wanted to get a good idea.
Not enough...
Is she hot?
Like, no.
Do you think that there was a time she was hot? She got nice tits?
Doubt it.
Nice ass?
I doubt it.
No, you know she's got nice tits. You can see it through her clothes.
She's like 80 now.
You ain't seen pictures of her when she was younger?
Nah.
Okay.
No, man.
So, as far as you know, she's about a 6 or 7 on the tart scale.
Yeah,
she doesn't have good tits, no ass.
No
okay,
tits, no
so
ass, no
she's...
nothing.
Okay.
But like I said, with her being a little mental, she was abandoned by her family, and the only way she knew how to take care of her and her sister was to pimp herself out.
How'd she get to that point? How'd she figure that out?
Well, I don't know.
Somebody come up and was like, I give you $3 or $4, you let me get off in that cat?
I think it really happened. Like
She's
some
like,
man
you
come
do
up
it for
and
a
said,
fucking payday bar?
I give you $25, you suck me off. And she's like, okay.
Okay.
Man.
So,
what do you think? What do you think those sounds sound like?
hey, I'm not going to answer that question.
Hey, we're really dancing on the line here.
Yes. That's going from demonetized to deplatformed.
Oh, really?
I would like to think so, yeah.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
But
So,
you gotta admit. Okay.
Here's the thing. I bet it's amazing. No, I bet it's amazing.
You bet the act is amazing?
I bet it feels great.
Why?
Like,
Elaborate.
because the threshold,
Of knowledge.
no. I feel like, wow, dude. I don't, for the first time, I really just don't want to say what I want to say.
Okay, well, anyways, to go along, this has been a long, drawn-out story because we can't really say what the fuck we want to say because we'll just...
Go ahead, man. Just let them know where they found her at.
God damn it. So they found her... Somebody found this mentally challenged aunt of mine, fucked her and dumped her in a ditch. And the silence speaks volumes.
Yeah. So your mom and aunt found her in the ditch.
Yes, found her in the ditch.
They were like, oh, wow, someone's in a ditch. We should go check on her. And they go over there, and it's a retarded girl.
Yes.
And they found out she was, like, not only retarded, but she was a prostitute.
Yes.
And to them, they thought, we can bring this home.
We can bring it home.
Like it's a stray cat or something. We'll feed her.
Yeah.
And we will nurture her.
She has been in my family ever since.
How's the head?
It's not bad. It's not bad, no. I know that sounds like a really sad story, but...
Unless you gotta... No, it's not a sad story. The sad story is like her life before your mom and them found her in the ditch. I feel like after your mom and them found her in the ditch, her life got better.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. Her life didn't initially get better because...
Your family, like, was fucking her.
Christ.
We were talking too much shit about tards, man.
Hey, it's coming. It's coming.
We're just kidding. We're just kidding. No. Her life definitely got significantly better, I feel like.
It did get better, but she told me, she said, like, she didn't just slip out of her old ways, like, she didn't just slip out of her old ways, just like that.
What do you mean? She's still fucking
like
banging?
She caught her, like, in the car with this dude one day. She pulled up at, like, the
Dude.
grocery store, and she was in the car with this old man, and she was,
Yeah, giving him the business.
Give him a little...
What's wrong with that?
Neanderthal neck.
All right. Bro. Oh, my God, dude.
Can we cut that out?
Yeah, I'll cut it out. Bro.
Do we need to cut that out?
Nah, listen. That's crazy. But that is so fucking funny, dude. So this person isn't really related to you.
No.
And you've known her your whole life.
Yeah, I've known her my whole life.
Until recently you found that out.
Right.
Imagine that. Imagine having an aunt or an uncle that had special needs growing up. And you're like, oh, man. So, like, you're like, whatever. And then you get older and you realize that person's not even related to you. They were just found in a ditch after sucking somebody off and got dumped out. And then they didn't, like, just stop those ways. They were like, nah, we're going to keep sucking people off. That's consistency and persistence, and that's what you want. That's the kind of role model you want, I feel like.
Now, how that come about is, like, she's kind of suffering from dementia now. Like I said, she's up in her age.
Damn, she got a shitty hand,
she
dude.
Has that,
she had a shitty hand.
Yeah, so she's kind of suffering from dementia now, and like in a way, she's kind of resorting back to her old ways. Like,
let's trade hats.
Okay. Jesus Christ, Daddy, this just swallows my whole head.
I can't get yours on. All right, go ahead.
Oh, well, like, she just kind of fell back into her old ways a little bit. This is really big, and I feel like I'm wearing your condom.
That's some crazy shit.
Not
dude.
necessarily fell back in her old ways, but she still makes, like, obscene gestures, like, with her hands and stuff.
No, the fuck she
Yes,
don't.
she does.
No, she don't.
Yes, she does.
To you?
No, not to me. Jesus Christ, no. She did to my mom's boyfriend.
No, she did.
Yeah, she was telling him, like, she
like,
was
over
doing
here,
her
like,
hands, and she was
$25.
like, I'll suck you off.
$25.
She's like, I used to be the best. She's like, they used to do
That never crosses your mind? You never think about, like, well, damn, is she the best?
No, no, absolutely
Not one time.
No.
Not one time.
No, maybe once.
Okay. Damn, dude, what a wild fucking
It's
thing, man. Like, I'm trying to really wrap my head around it, but that's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
bro, you look like fucking A, man. I can't even think of it. What was it? The kid? You know what I'm talking about?
Billy the
old
Kid?
Gunslinger? Yeah, Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid, man. That's
Billy
one of
the Kid.
You ever seen Young Guns? Mm-mm. It's one of my favorite movies, dude. I love westerns. That's my favorite type of movies. Can you talk about, and if you don't want to, it's fine. Like, can you talk about, and if you don't want to, like, I'll cut this part out. Your mom using your aunt's account. How weird it is that your mom uses your aunt's Facebook account.
Yes. So, let me tell you, my real aunt. Okay. Calm down.
Maybe we
Jesus.
should chill out.
Calm down, Jesus. So my real aunt, Jesus Christ, it's just a nerve thing. I'm fucking with this. Mm-hmm. I know what you're thinking.
I don't think nothing.
She passed. It's a while back now.
COVID.
Yeah,
COVID?
from COVID. She passed from COVID a while back, and my mom has access to her Facebook account. And like I posted a status not too long ago, and it was kind of late at night, and I'm laying in bed, just chilling, scrolling through, and I get a notification. I click on the notification, and it says it's my dead aunt likes this, and it's a pretty obscene meme or post that I posted. It was something about like fucking women or something or other. And it's like, hey man, your dead aunt likes this. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I was like, get off her fucking Facebook. You about gave me a fucking heart attack.
You know why that's so funny, man? Because I want to tell this story, but I don't want to tell this story like to its whole, because this person really did die. There's a person he's a content creator that died this week, and I didn't know him that well, but people, I guess, thought I knew him well, so they started, like, sending me his information so that he passed, and I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're, like, trying to get me to call his mother on the phone and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't know this guy well enough to do that. I struggle to find the words to say when, like, someone in my own family dies. I don't want to try to, like, talk somebody through someone else's family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even know this guy that well. I've never met your mom, never spoke to you. Like, why do I want to talk to her on the phone and talk about the son that I didn't even know that well that died, right?
Right.
It's just a weird thing, you know what I'm saying? Well, I got to thinking about it. Well, I didn't know that he was really dead at first. I had this random person messaging me who had like 14 or 15 followers on Instagram. It was like, hey, so-and-so died. You need to like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck? Well, I'm friends with that person that died on Facebook. And I haven't seen anything about him dying on Facebook. I went to his page, I checked, nothing. So I screenshot the message where the guy told me that this guy had died. And I screenshot it and I sent it to that guy and I said, yo, dude, this guy thinks you are dead. So I go outside that night and I'm smoking some weed. I get pretty high. Well, all of a sudden, that person that is supposedly dead messaged me back and was like, yeah, he is dead. And it was like his mother using his account or something, but she didn't say that. She just said, yeah, he is dead. And I'm so high that I think I'm talking to someone who is dead. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, this 5G is a motherfucker. I'm like, I'm talking to somebody in heaven. So I'm like, damn, that shit's crazy, dog. I was like, I'm sorry that you are dead. Well, next morning I get a message on Instagram request from his mother. And she's like, this is so-and-so's mother. Can you please call me and talk for like 15 or 20 minutes? And I'm like, no. I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I didn't know him, really. I really didn't know him.
No.
Like, there's people you know in your life. There's people that you know. And then there's people that you know exist. I knew that guy existed.
Right.
I didn't know that guy. Right?
Right.
I don't feel comfortable enough making that conversation with his mother of her son just died. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If it was you and your mom was telling me, yeah, you're my best friend. I don't know this guy. So I just ignored it. I just ignored it. And now I'm probably going to get put on blast about it. But like, whatever. You know, I don't know that guy. I'm so sorry.
Well, like, what
What am I supposed to say?
Right. What are you going to say? Like, there's literally nothing to say.
No. So it's a weird position to be in. But it's like, what are you going to fucking do about it, you know? I don't know. It's just a weird shit that I get myself into.
Speaking of death, fucking Queen Elizabeth died.
Who is that?
She is the Queen of London. England, I'm sorry.
What's next? Who's after that?
Charles? King Charles, maybe?
Oh, okay.
I believe.
How weird is it that we still have like kings and queens?
It's very strange, very strange.
It seems like a really naive thing.
Well, yeah, it's like,
Who the fuck are you?
well, you got to be born into it. It's like, it's not elected. It's no kind of elected thing. Like, you're just born into it.
Isn't that fucking gay?
Yeah. You're just born into it, and you, like, continue having heirs and heirs and heirs.
That's gay, dude.
Yeah. It's just your blood.
And like, do they have really that much control? Or they control everything?
Oh, they control everything.
Wow.
Yeah, like, they are the control.
That's crazy.
And also, that was the longest reigning,
Queen?
yeah, she was the longest reigning queen. And she also served. And it was kind of crazy, for real. Like, can we talk about this?
We can talk about whatever you want to.
Fucking Queen Elizabeth was actually kind of a baddie back in the day.
Oh, I saw pictures. No, she was hot.
She was hot.
She was hot.
Like, imagine this, you know, this old army chick, you know, she's like doctoring you up, or she fixed vehicles and done all kinds of shit. She was a badass.
Dude, Princess Diana was fucking bad, dude. Back in the day.
Was until she
got murdered. My mom had all the plates. It's so funny, man, because, like, we lived in this house that had no insulation, no heating and air. We were, like, the fifth generation living in this house. You could literally see the dirt, like, through the holes in the floor. Like, we had this, like, wood floor, and, like, there was, like, gaps in between the hardwood floor, and you could, like, see the dirt into the floor. But my mom had these Princess Diana plates hung up in our living room, and she was like, these are worth so much money. And I said... And I remember being as a child, and I would be like eating some cereal in the kitchen. I like look down and see the dirt and like in the floor, through the floor, and I'd be like, "Can you just sell these motherfuckers, please? Could you sell them, please?" It's hilarious. My mom's got so much Princess Diana stuff. It's so fucking funny. And then like she had that like on the walls, and then like in our room she had the Beanie Babies in the cases.
Oh God.
Oh my God, dude. Every time she got a paycheck, we would go to this place called Peaches and Dreams. It was in Tallapoosa, Georgia. You'd walk in there, and they would have like all this like decorations, like Christmas decorations, like everything, like home interior. But then they would have this Beanie Baby section. And Mom would go in there every paycheck she got. She would pick us up at school. She would get her check cash, and she would go to Peaches of Dreams, and she would get 2 Beanie Babies, dude. And she would buy the cases and put them in the cases, man. And it was so funny, man.
Rockin'.
We had so many. And she just thought, like, that was our ticket out, dude. Like, we were going to be fucking rich one day because we had all the Beanie Babies. It was so funny.
You know, it's really heartbreaking. Like, you see all these things. We knew about this stuff. Like, when we were growing up, you saw, so for instance, what it was when I was growing up, you had cars Like, I was really into cars, and my dad's really into cars, and, like, old cars, old muscle cars. Like, my dad had a 70 and 71 Chevelle.
That's badass.
And, like, I love that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I love that. And that's what he was saying. He's like, back in the day, like, whenever he was young, he said you could literally get it a dime a dozen. You can get it, you know, I think he bought his, like, 70 Chevelle for, you know, maybe a couple thousand. Maybe a couple thousand.
That's crazy.
Even if it was that much.
Yeah.
And, like, he wrecked 2 of them. And he hit this woman on the not on the interstate, on the highway. It was pouring down rain, and she was sitting on a bridge with her lights off in the pouring down rain, and he was racing this person.
Oh.
And he didn't see her, and he rear-ended this old lady. And, like, his head went through the windshield because he didn't have a fucking seatbelt on. Like, fucked him up, you know. But anyways.
They didn't believe in seatbelts back then.
Oh, no. Like, most of them before the 70s didn't even have seatbelts.
Right.
But, like, that's the thing. Like, we've seen that, and now you've seen that if you would just kept one of them, like, it'd been worth good money now.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with, like, Pokemon cards.
Which is bizarre, if you really think about it. Like, there are baseball cards. Think about this for a second. There are baseball cards, and, like, based off of real people with real stats, things they really did in their life. And then there are Pokemon cards who are made up of fake characters with fake stats that are worth. There's some that are worth literally like $40,000 or $50,000 for one card. Yeah, that's insane.
Insane, and it's even more insane to think that me and you have probably had them some before. That we've held them in our hands. And
I swear to God, I think I gave them to my son, like, because I gave him a binder full of Pokemon, and like he used to like gnaw on them. Like, Joe come up to me one day and she's like, "Look, if I lick my Pokemon cards a lot, they'll stick together." And I'm like, "Oh wow, you're gonna be with us. You're gonna be with us for a really long time. Like, you're gonna stick around the house for a while, I bet."
It's crazy, man. Like, I used to have those old Charizards and stuff, and like they were cool as a kid,
right?
But like, you didn't think that
they're gonna be anything.
No, I wouldn't think that. When I was a child playing with Pokemon cards, I didn't hold this card and think, if I hold on to this until I'm 30 years old, I will be financially stable.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
No.
And I wish there was a way of telling that, because there's things, like, think about that. There's things that we deal with every day, that we pick up and throw around every day, things that are just next to, useless. Mm-hmm. That in the future,
they will be worth something.
They will be worth something.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's why antique stores are such a thing, man, because people love shit like that. You can go into the Apple Barn up here in Oxford, dude. Even the case knives. There's some of them that are worth, like, that have been around for so long, man. They're worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, like, some of them are, like, they don't even look like they would be anything. Like, my dad, he is obsessed with case knives. And I went over there to pick my son up today. They went to the flea market. He's got a huge collection of case knives. Like, he's got just stacks and stacks and stacks of them. And he's got them categorized by their, like, worth. And there's some in there, like, you would look at this knife and you would never think that it's anything. But then you, like, look up the value of it, and it's, like, $400 or $500 now. And, like, because it's just, like, the amount of them that were made, the condition it's in and stuff, and how old they are. It's insane. But, like, I feel like anything old like that is similar. Like, there's a market for it because there are people who are interested in that stuff, because nostalgia is such a big thing, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, well, I feel like people live more in the past than they do in the future.
Well, you think about it, like, especially in the olden times, like, a knife you used to carry every day in your pocket or whatever, and like you like that knife, you lost it, and then like you get old, like you're like in your 60s or 70s, and like somebody has a knife that's brand new that looks identical to the one you used to carry all the time. You're like, fuck, that's a lot to me, right? Like, the worth of it is different to you than it would be a casual buyer.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. I started watching this show on Hulu. It's called The Boonies.
You take this back. It's giving me a headache. It's a little tight. The Boonies.
The Boonies. You were wearing this backwards.
Oh, was I? I'm sorry. We'll have to wrap it up soon because we're running out of time.
I'll be quick with this. So I was watching a show called The Boonies on Hulu, And it's these people that live out in nature. They live like off the grid, below the grid, and above the grid.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is they follow different people. They follow this one guy. He is below the grid. He lives in caves. He lives in these massive caves. Now, I can't remember where this guy's at, but he has lived in these caves for like 30 years. Like 20 or 30 years.
Oh, fuck that.
And he...
By himself?
By himself.
Oh, no, that's insane.
And like it was him. Well, it was him and his wife died. Well, after that, like, you know, he just continued to live there, but he knows all of these caves. And they show him, I mean, he's literally like going in these entrances where he's got to crawl around on his stomach. And it's barely enough to, you know, for him to fit through. And he's like, what do they call it? Where he's got the rope and he's like diving down into these cave things.
Fuck that.
Like rappelling down into these caves.
Yeah.
With just a rope tied to a tree.
I'm good, bro.
That's what he does. Like, that was the first guy. The above the grid is these people that live in the trees in like a tree house that they built. It's him and his wife. And that's in the northern hills of Idaho. That is above the grid. And, you know, they live up there. They shoot bear, deer, stuff like that. Below the grid... Well, what'd I say? It was above.
Where's below the grid at? Where they filmed that at? Where's these caves at?
I have no idea. I can't remember where that guy was.
Yeah.
There was one guy, or them in the tree houses was northern Idaho. Southern Idaho was this guy. He's like a nomad. He lives like Native Americans. He's dressed like Native Americans, but he's a white guy. And he was in... I'm sorry, I told you wrong. It's not southern Idaho. That was in California because I remember the wildfires.
SoCal.
Yes, Southern California. So he like moves because this was during all the wildfires and stuff. And that's how he lives his life. And he said he come up on his neighbor. Who the fuck has neighbors out there for one?
Right.
But he come up to this neighbor, and it showed this old shack-like house. And a dude just walks up into his yard and starts howling.
Howling?
Howling. Like, he just walks up into the yard and starts howling, and then here comes Joe Buck out here. He's like, hey, you want to go shoot a bear?
That's insane, dude. That sounds like Alaska, man.
Yeah.
Well, you watch the Alaskan Bush People ever? You ever watch that show? It's similar to that. Like, their neighbors, like the people they call their neighbors, are like 8 or 9 miles away, and like they're off in the cut, dude. Such a weird life, man. They say a lot of felons go out there. Like people with felonies, they go out to Alaska and they buy these lots. They say it's cheap, man, and then they live out there. They're off the grid.
Off the grid.
It's really fucking crazy. You know, Alex went out there hunting bear, man, and he did this bear hunt. He said they flew him out on this rickety ass plane. He's like they flew out to Alaska. They got to the airport and like you wait around, you get on this other plane, and you fly out to like the hunting zone. He brought his Smith & Wesson 500 and he bought this rifle. And he said they flew him out to this like desolate area. He said it's a landing strip in the middle of the woods. He said it looks like Jurassic Park. He said they fly you on this landing strip. He said there's nothing. He said there's no buildings or nothing. He says it's literally just a landing strip out in the middle of nowhere. He said you land out there on this, you're on like this biplane. He said it's a small plane. He said it's just you and the pilot, like, and whoever you got with you. Like he had Becky with him. He said they get out. He said the pilot's like, hey, he's like, at this point, as soon as you get off this plane, he said the bears are hunting you. He's like, they know you're here. He said they can smell you now. He said they don't give a fuck. He said right now, this time of year, he said the time that you come, he said they don't care about you. He said they're after salmon. He said if you can find the river, he gave him a map. He said you can find the river. He said there'll be bears out there eating the salmon. He said they won't fuck with you. He said because they're after the salmon. So Alex said that they were like, whatever. He said, so they went to the river. He said they're like 50 yards away from these giant grizzlies. He said they're in the water just snatching up these salmon. He said you can hear them when they would bite the salmon in two, like just snap. He said you could hear it, like the sound of them crunching them in half. And he said the bears would like look at them. They would see them. He said, but they didn't care because they have such a surplus of salmon. They're just tearing these things up. He said it's wild. Yeah. He said, but they knew that they were there. He said they acknowledged them. They knew they were there.
that guy that was marking the territory, whenever I said, he went to his neighbor to see if they wanted to go hunting a bear, he found like signs of a bear, and he told of how they mark their territory. And I didn't know this. I know like deer will piss on their back legs. They've got these little glands on the back of their legs. They're about like that.
Oh yeah.
And on the bucks, and they'll piss on them. And as they're walking through, it'll leave their scent, so the does, they'll know where they went and stuff like that. But that's how they mark their territory. Well, like bears are kind of different, and honestly, it's kind of scary.
What do you mean?
So he come up to this tree. It's this massive pine tree. I mean, it's probably 100-year-old pine tree.
Yeah.
Big ass pine tree. And he shows like the claw markings on it. And he said, okay, he said, down here, he said, this is your female. He said, this is where she's clawed on it. He said, like, they haven't like climbed the tree. They're just marking their territory. He said, this is the, the female bear. And then above it, he said, this here is, a male. He said, up here, because it's so much taller, he said, this is a male. And he said, and this one right here, the guy's standing straight up. He looks to be about 6 foot, 5-6 foot. He's standing straight up, and he takes his gun and holds it by the very butt of the gun and pushes it up as far as he can. So he's standing, he's got that rifle in his hand, and he's pushing it as far up. He said, and this is a big bear.
Fuck that, dude.
And does like that, and that tall, all the way up there is a claw mark.
And fuck that.
And there's a gap of like this much in between the dad bear and this alpha bear.
Hell no, dude.
He said that is a big bear.
That's terrifying. Like, when we went to Jackson Hole last year, we were in Yellowstone, and we were driving through, and they have this automated guide you can download, and, like, you can drive around. It'll use GPS and tell you where you're at and stuff. And they have a lot of grizzlies out there that they have tagged and that they track. And, like, if one's close to you, it'll let you know. Like, hey, if you stop here, maybe you can spot it, because it's going to come out in this opening soon. Well, like, also, if you see, like, a big crowd of people, usually there's a bear or there's a big elk or a moose. And so we're driving through, and we see this big grassy field, man, and people are, like, lined up. People have, like, giant cameras, like lenses this long, like, set up out there, and I'm like, wow. So we park, we get out, and we go look, and, like, there's this grizzly, like, laying down in the middle of this field, and, like, it didn't look that big because it's laying down. It's just tall grass. You kind of just see their head poking up, and, like, these two little cubs will, like, look up. I'm like, oh, my God. And they're probably, like, 70 yards away.
Yeah.
And, like, people were just like, oh, my God, whatever. Well, like, all of a sudden, this motherfucker stands up, and it's, like, on his fours. It's not, like, standing straight up. It's on his fours, and it's giant, dude.
Yeah.
It is giant. I was like, wow, that is crazy. Like, this motherfucker will fuck you up.
Absolutely.
And then, like, you don't even think about how, like, elk are big. They're big. And, like, we've seen some of them, like, out there in Yellowstone. We see some in Jackson Hole that are, like, laying on the side of the road and, like, just munching on some grass, and they're huge.
Yeah, they're big
but, like,
animals.
They don't even compare to, like, the size of moose, dude. Moose are, like, the biggest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was so terrifying. We seen this one moose. We stayed close to the Teton. We stayed in the Teton village off to the side, and it's right there next to the Teton Mountains, dude, and there's this field right beside it. There would be moose out there, man, in the morning, and, like, that was, like, they were more intimidating, I think, than the bears. Like, they are so fucking big, dude.
Not only that, they're very aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
They're very territorial and very aggressive.
I've never seen, like the bears were huge, like, and the grizzly is terrifying in itself. But, like, just the name and then, like, itself. And, like, grizzly bears are, like, scary as fuck. But, like, you hear moose and you don't think that's that scary. But when you see one in person, dude, it's so fucking big. And, like, I was like, wow. Like, that will fuck you up. Like, that will fuck you up.
Yes.
Dude. Even a baby moose. Like, we've seen, like, two, like, with this big male, this female, and then a baby. And, like, even the female was giant. The male was, like, so terrifying. The baby was huge. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
They stand, like, their legs and all are so long.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't want to make a assumption here, because I don't know the exact height of a moose. But I would say they would probably easily, standing on all fours, they would easily go 5.5 to 6 foot.
I think they're more than that. I got some videos I'll show you after this. I would like to take you, though, like later this year, after we do some shows and we go on a break. Like, I'd like to take you, man, like a 3-day weekend to Jackson Hole.
Fuck yeah.
I have every trips I've been to. Like, I love the beach more than anything, but, like, I've never been on a trip like Jackson Hole, man. Like, the shit that you see, like, the wildlife and everything. And then, like, you could be, like, at the bottom, like, you could be out and it'll be, like, 60, 50 or 60 degrees. It feels good outside. And then you go up on the Tetons. You can rent some side-by-sides and start going up the mountain.
Fuck
and then,
yeah.
like, as you go up, it's steadily, like, you can see snow accumulating. And as you get to the top, it's, like, a foot of snow. And, like, you're just sliding on this ice, dude. It's crazy that, like, the difference, man. It's just a fucking cool place, man.
Yeah. It's so much different than Alabama.
Yeah, it's like you're in a different country. It's so pretty out there. But I think we're running out of time, dude. Y'all didn't really ask a lot of questions. If you don't like that, that's cool. If you want to ask some questions, man, drop them in the comments. We'll answer those next week. I know we're not the best at staying consistent. I'm trying to get better at it. I've had a lot of shit going on in my life. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just trying to get that shit straightened out. But we appreciate you watching, man. And if, like, you enjoy this, you want to ask any questions, we'll try our best to answer them to the best we can. You got anything you want to add?
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, we appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Later.